continuous education might not always pay off in the short term, I strongly believe that a well-educated person will always have, large benefits in like the long term. And something that I like about education that I've always said is it provides knowledge. And I know something that you've mentioned before. You've mentioned that it also cannot be stolen or taxed by anyone.
Correct.
And so, Rick, for the benefit of my listeners, what are some of the most influential books that you have read over your life that you think hold great value for investors?
God, the list is so vast. Okay. Start with economics in one lesson. That will teach you the way the economy actually works. There's a way the big thinkers would like you to believe it works. It's an easy book to read. So start with economics in one lesson. By the way, don't just buy this book. You don't have to buy it. You can get it at a library, but read it. It's important when I give people books that they don't just pat them and dust them and things, that they actually think about them and read them. The second book we've talked about already, The Intelligent Investor by Ben Graham, is, I suspect, the best investment book ever written relative to the effort required to read and understand it. There's wonderful wisdom there. It's in plain English. And if you apply the lessons that you learn in that book over your lifetime, you will become rich. It's as simple as that. Applying them isn't necessarily simple, but if you pay attention to the very simple lessons in that book, particularly the lessons around moat, durable competitive moat, margin of safety, and Mr. Market, the best chapter on contrarian investing I ever read. If you pay attention to that as a young person and employ your capital in the methods described by Mr. Graham, you will become rich. Not many other books you could say that about. If you enjoyed The Intelligent Investor, then you buy the magnum opus by Ben Graham, which is securities analysis. That's where the rubber meets the road. How to employ the philosophies established in The Intelligent Investor. It is not an easy book to read. It's a wonderful cure for insomnia, frankly. But usually when I'm done reading it, I put it aside and I pick it up and start reading it again, which is to say I never stop reading it, because the message there requires discipline in its employment. The most impactful book I ever read, and one that I still refer to constantly, is Human Action by Ludwig von Mises. It talks about the impact of will and recency bias in psychology on individuals, and weaves sort of a fabric of individual responses into a social fabric that talks about the way people act first as individuals and then how they act as groups. And understanding volition, understanding incentive, I think is absolutely critical to understanding the way things work. But more recent books, I would say, include Anti-Fragile by Taleb. And then Taleb's most recent work, which I just got done with, Skin in the Game, I think is a wonderful book for investors. The idea that if you're backing a management team, you shouldn't be backing employees, you should be backing partners. Skin in the Game is all about commitment, financial commitment or other forms of commitment. But that's a tough question to answer, because there have been so many books that have helped me so much. Narrowing it down, I tried to give some that would be sort of a primer to a younger person who was interested in a career in investment operations. But there have been, I've also, although I'm not religious, I read both the Old Testament and the New Testament, and I read the Quran, not so much personally for life lessons, but rather to understand the social constructs that those books created. And I would encourage anybody who has the time and the inclination to read the holy books.